All right, hey guys, Cody here with Michigan Whitetail Pursuit. It's summertime, it's early June, and that means it's time to get ready for deer season. I'm out here today doing a little bit of practice with my gear. I made one change to my saddle setup, which we'll talk about later, but I wanted to give you guys a couple of tips and tricks that I've discovered the last couple of years getting into saddle hunting. I'm trying to choose tips and tricks that are different than every other saddle hunting video you've ever seen. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is to have a system. And what I mean by that is everything from how you're stacking your platform and your sticks onto your pack, to the pockets that everything goes in, even my dump pouch. Everything is in there in a specific order in a specific place. This helps because if I'm showing up and it's dark in the morning, I know where everything is. You can kind of use your muscle memory to your advantage, and you don't spend time, you're not wasting time looking for where did I put my fill in the blank. The second tip kind of piggybacks on top of that, and that is slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So what that means is when you're setting everything up, it's quicker to do everything a little bit slower but get it right the first time than it is to have to redo things multiple times. It also saves you from getting all frustrated. It saves you from getting sweaty. It saves you from just making mistakes and making loud noises and stuff like that. So just remember, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, to do everything the right way the first time, and it's going to be a lot quicker for you. The third thing I want to talk about is gear. There's all kinds of different stuff that you can buy out there these days, and some of it's useful, some of it is maybe a little bit of a gimmick. I'm not going to get too much into the details of that. You can make your own decisions on what you think you'll use and what you think you won't. But my encouragement is be creative. Some of this stuff you can make on your own and you don't need to buy something. For example, my bow hook, what I use is, this is a strap off from a Tacticam Reveal trail camera. I've got a couple of hooks on here, which are from just a broken bungee cord, and I did buy a bow hook from Genesis 3D Printing, and I have that on there. But most of this I just had lying around, and it's something I made for free. I only have a couple dollars into this, and it just weighs a couple of ounces. Another thing that I did with stuff that I have just lying around is a homemade strap stager. So this is just stuff that I had in my office. It's literally a rubber band and a paper clip. I just bent the paper clip into a hook, attached it to one side of the strap, and then wrapped a rubber band around the other side of the strap. And this I can put around the tree while I'm attached with my lineman rope, and I can get the strap to approximately the right size that it needs to be for the tree. And I can leave it there. The strap stager holds it there for me, and I can grab my platform and I can do everything that I need to do with two hands, which is really nice and just makes it a little bit simpler to attach your platform when you're standing on your top stick and you're 20 feet up in the air. It just makes it a little easier. And again, this is stuff that I just had lying around. You don't need to spend money on this. You can get a little creative and just make something your own. On the topic of gear, another tip that I wanted to throw out there is try to find multiple uses for things when you can. For example, my lineman rope. I use it primarily for safety, getting up and down the tree. And if you don't use one, I highly recommend that you do. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family and your friends to come home safely from the hunt. So be safe, stay attached to the tree the whole time up and down. But when I get up to the top of my tree and I'm got my platform set, I don't need it anymore because I'm tethered in. So what I like to do is at that point I take my lineman and I rope it around the tree and I attach my backpack to it. What's nice about this is it can be adjustable if I want. I can lower my backpack down to get it out of the way if I wanted to, say for example, have space to draw my bow and not worry about hitting my pack. Or if I want it just right up in front of me because I'm going to be, maybe I've got a thermos of coffee in there or something like that. I can keep it right there in front of me and have it readily accessible, whatever I want to do, and I can adjust it. I can drop it down when I don't need it, I can pull it up when I do need it, but everything's right there and I didn't have to bring anything extra. It saves space, it saves weight, and it makes it a little quicker for you. Another thing that I've discovered, and this kind of just holds true in life in general, is generally speaking, you get what you pay for. When I first started saddle hunting, I didn't know how much I would actually do it. So I spent money and I got a nice saddle. I run the Method 2 from Latitude. It's a nice 2-panel system, super adjustable. It's easy to pack in and out, no metal buckles or anything like that, so it's quiet. It just seemed like a good all-around choice for never having saddle hunted before. I figured with all the adjustability, I could find a way to make it work for me, and I've stuck with it. I really like it. It's a good saddle. But I kind of went budget on my platform. I actually had a buddy that was selling one from a brand that I won't mention, but it was a large square platform that was big, bulky, and heavy. And it did the trick as far as giving me something to stand on when I'm up in the tree, but packing it in and out was kind of a pain because it was big and heavy, and standing on it was uncomfortable because it just had 90-degree edges. So this year I actually had my eye on the profile platform that Latitude makes for a couple, well, since they came out with it. And this year they made an addition to it which just sold me on it. The change that they made to it is they added a foot platform on top of the post here. So what this does is it helps you to set the platform a little bit more. You can kind of toe cam it into the tree and get it really nice and tight, but it also gives you an extra position to put your foot when you're kind of maneuvering around the tree. Another thing that I really love about this platform is the packability. It's kind of the big thing, right? This is why it's called the profile platform. The post folds down into the platform, and I mean, it's maybe just over an inch wide is all it is, and it's super easy to just strap it onto your pack, or you could even slide it into your pack if you want. The other thing that I like about this platform is the contoured front edge. Like I mentioned, my other one had just a 90-degree angle. I wrapped it with paracord to try to make it a little bit more comfortable, but it definitely led to kind of pinching off the blood flow in my feet, and late season it led to some cold feet, some cold toes. This one has a contoured front edge, so it's just way more comfortable to rest your foot on. And on top of that, it won't restrict the blood flow, and it should keep me a little warmer on those late season hunts, which I'm looking forward to. And this is kind of a minor detail, but the last thing that I'll mention on this before we move on is I like the color. It's a nice brown color. It blends in great with various trees. I feel like a lot of the platforms are just, it's like the die-cast aluminum, and they just leave it the gray color, which is fine. It blends in good enough in the woods, but I like how they coated it and made it brown. I just think it's visually appealing, and it might help you blend in a little bit more. So to wrap that tip up, I'll say, don't make my mistake. Buy once, cry once, get the good stuff right from the start. The final tip that I want to put in here, and I'm saying this more for myself than for anybody else, is to use the stuff for how it was intended to be used. Now, let me explain what that means. Saddle hunting is meant to be a lightweight, mobile, kind of aggressive way of hunting, but also you can hide behind the tree in your saddle setup. I had a hunt last year where I went way back. It was well over a mile into some public land. I looked around in the spot that I really wanted to be. All the trees were either dead or just straight up and down with no limbs on them. What I should have done is I should have used the saddle how it was intended and set up there, because you can hide behind the tree. You can use your actual tree as cover. But I wanted the most cover that I could get, so I found another tree that was probably 50 yards away or so that had splits in it and that sort of thing. So I went and I got set up in that tree. Well, lo and behold, what happens, other than a really nice respectable buck, ends up working his way down the transition line and feeds around right where I wanted to be, and just chose not to. I chose to set up in a different spot, and I probably could have had a 20-yard chip shot at this buck, but instead I'm watching him just outside of bow range, wishing that I would have set up where I had originally wanted to. And he did end up kind of coming my way. He cut through at about 45, but I just, with archery equipment, I like to stick to 40 or less. I think that extra 5 yards can make a big difference on them jumping the string. And so I didn't want to risk that shot, and so I just let him walk and figured maybe he'll make it through and I can get him this year. But more so for me than for anybody else, I'm just reminding myself to take risks, get in the spot that I need to be in, whatever it looks like. You know, the saddle hunting, the extra perk is you can hide behind the tree, and I just need to remember that for myself. So those are a few tips and tricks that I've learned over the past few seasons saddle hunting. If you have anything additional that I missed, feel free to drop it in the comments. So good luck, be safe, and enjoy time out in God's creation. And I'll see you guys this fall.